how do you develop the will? There's 3 very simple ways to develop the will. 1 is you finish what you begin. 2 is you finish it well beyond your expectation, no matter how long it takes. 3 is you do a little bit more than you think you can do. All of those things require effort, and effort is will. It's so much easier to start a project than to finish a project, right? When you start a project, you're feeling creative, you're feeling inspired, you're full of energy. At the end of the project, you go, whose idea was this? So it requires tremendous amount of will to finish, and every time you complete something, you develop a little bit more will, and you have that muscle. And will is an amazing thing to develop, because once you develop will, that same will you can use in every aspect of your life to keep your awareness on one thing at a time, to finish projects, to see things through to the end, anything you want. The best way to develop will? Bring it into your everyday life, into everything that you do. Give you an example, the way I integrate it into my everyday life, I try and finish what I begin. So for example, going to sleep. I sleep every night. So I put on my pajamas, I floss, I brush my teeth. I go to bed, I sleep, I wake up in the morning, I make the bed. Why? Because I'm finishing what I start. And it takes effort to make the bed. It's easier just to crawl out of it and walk away. So I can throw the sheet on it. It takes a little bit of will, so I know I'm developing my will. But instead of just throwing the sheet on it, I can make it really nice. So I fold the blanket, I finish it well beyond my expectations. I do a little bit more than I think I can. So someday I fold the blanket like they do at the Marriott, like a double fold, and someday I fold it at an angle like they do at the Sheraton. And my bed looks great. Every time I come into the room, my wife and I look at the bed and go, oh, it feels so nice. This is the place I rest in, where I get stronger, and I made it look nice. I have a cup of coffee, I have breakfast, I rinse the bowl and I put it away. If I have enough time to make breakfast and eat breakfast, I have enough time to quickly rinse the bowl. It doesn't take much more effort. Children take toys out of the box to play with it. They have enough time to put toys back in the box. They just need to be taught to finish what they start. And if you integrate this practice into everything that you do, you start a conversation with someone, you finish the conversation, you don't leave the conversation halfway and go away. You finish the conversation and you move on. So if you can integrate this practice into everything that you do in your life, you become better at it and you develop more will. So that's 3 very simple ways to develop the will, and the best way to do it again is to integrate it into everything that you do. And again, you'll see in the book here a monthly self-evaluation exercise. You can see how well you're actually integrating this practice into your everyday life. So moving on to the next thing, moving on to energy management. There's a big difference between energy management and time management. People often say to me, when I talk about energy management, they say, you mean time management? I say, no, it's 2 different things. Because if I'm standing there with my spouse, or if I said to myself, okay, every day I'm going to spend 2 hours with my spouse, that's my energy management. I budgeted 2 hours for my spouse. But if the entire time in the 2 hours I'm physically there, but my awareness has drifted somewhere else, then that's where my energy is going. Because my energy is going where my awareness is going. So I could be physically there, my wife gets my physical body, but my awareness is drifted somewhere else. So energy management is keeping your awareness where you are each time. And then when you keep your awareness on that thing, that's where your energy goes. And wherever your energy goes, that thing blossoms, it grows. And that's how you develop things in life, is you pour energy into it. So I like to define life, a balanced life, as consciously, proportionately directing energy to the things and people that truly matter in your life. Balance, I don't look at balance as being 50-50, like a scale being balanced. It's not how I view balance. Balance is proportionately directing my energy to the things and people that truly matter in my life. And when I'm able to proportionally direct my energy, I know my life is in balance. But if my energy is not proportionally directed to the things and people that matter in my life, then my life is out of balance. And what is the great impetus for leading a balanced life? The great impetus for leading a balanced life is death. You know, this is a topic that a lot of people don't want to face or think about or talk about, but I think death is the greatest impetus for leading a balanced life. There's one guarantee in life: we're all going to die. Right? We don't like to think about it, but it's a fact. I've never met a 200-year-old man or a 1,000-year-old woman. So history tells us we're going to die. But it's great, humanity's great arrogance is to think that we're going to live forever. And because we think we're going to live forever, and that usually comes out of the fear, well, I don't want to think that my wife might die one day, so I block it out of my mind. And when you block it out of your mind, what do? You give her infinite life. You give her this unending time of living, and when you give her this unending time of living, where does she go in your priority? She goes right at the bottom of the list, because it's not important. If I told you all to submit that project whenever, when would you submit that project? Whenever. You'd never submit it. But if I told you it was due tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, you'd get on it right now, because there was a time frame. But if there was no time frame, what would be the rush? You just do it whenever. So if you looked at your life as living forever, what's the rush? There's no reason to do anything. Why go home and spend some time with my kids and my wife or my husband? I'll just work really hard all the time. And I truly believe in working really hard. But I also keep in mind that I don't live forever. I remember being at the Istanbul University a month ago, and an EO member came up to me and he said, "Dandapani, how often do you think about dying?" I said, you know, I never think about dying. I hardly ever think about dying. But the one thing I do think about quite often is the fact that I'm not going to be around forever. And I know my time is limited. I just don't know how much time I have. And because I know my time is limited, I prioritize my life. I prioritize the people and things that truly matter in my life. And because I prioritize the people and things that truly matter in my life, then my life starts to be in balance. But we don't do this. Most people don't do this because they think they'll live forever. And it's the fear of losing someone you love gives them infinite amount of life. And then they go at the bottom of the list. So I'm married. I never want to think that my wife will die because I love her. But I know eventually she will at some point. And because I know the fact that she's not going to live forever, I'm not going to live forever, I put her right on top of the list. She's one of the most important things in the list. So I think the best death is the greatest impetus, the greatest reason to live a balanced life. And the way I do it is that I prioritize, I create a list of what are the most important things in my life. And if you look at EO 360, the theme for this year, right, for EO is focusing on myself, my family, my business, and my community. If we were to prioritize that, if I would prioritize myself as first, I would tell you that you are the most important person in the world. Put yourself first, your family next, your business after that, and then the community number 4. Why? Because when you take care of yourself, everyone and everything around you is okay. When you're okay, your spouse is okay. Your children are okay. Your business is okay. Your family is okay. Your friends are okay. But if you're a mess, your spouse is a mess, your children are a mess, your business is going to be a mess. So take time out of your days, out of your schedule each day, and spend a little time by yourself. We invest time in everything else and everyone else in our life, but very few people ever invest any time in themselves. So you should really honor and respect yourself and say, I'm going to take a little time out for myself each day. And the best way to do it is, I say, take a minute out of your time, a minute out of the day. Everybody can spend a minute. Designate a space in your home for yourself, and it's a little area where you can sit down on the floor, and that's your area where you can go inside and ask yourself, David, how am I feeling today? Am I okay? Is there any issues? Get to know yourself. That's the only way you can get to know yourself. If I wanted to get to know Eric, how would I get to know you? I'd spend time with you, right? Go out for a cup of coffee, have a drink, have dinner, and the more time I spend with you, the better I get to know you. If you really want to get to know yourself, you need to spend time with yourself. And if you don't spend time with yourself, you won't get to know yourself. So take aside 1 minute each day, sit down, create a space in your home where it's purely dedicated to this, and do that. And then after a month, add another minute. And then after 3 months, you'll have 3 minutes. And by the end of the year, you'll be sitting down for 12 minutes. And you really get to know yourself. You'll understand how your mind works. You'll develop these things. and your life will start to change in so many different ways. And now you'll create a change that can be sustained, which is the most important thing. I feel anybody can change for a minute, anybody can change for a day or 2 days, but can you change and sustain that change? That's the biggest thing.